Hey guys, thank you so much for being on time. We're going to give a couple of people just a few seconds to log in this morning. Thank you again. I know it's Friday. Some of you may not even be open yet, but I do appreciate you guys being here, prompt and ready to go. So we're going to get started here in just a second. So please sit tight for me. All right, let's do this. Let's get this show on the road. It's Friday. I know you guys are pumped and excited about the weekend, so I am not going to waste any more of your time. Seems like we have a good little bit of people that have gotten on this morning, more than I expected, because this is pretty much a repeat of the Reds webinar that we'd done a couple of weeks ago. I think a few weeks ago, actually, almost a month now. I did not have the opportunity to record that one, so that's why we're doing this one again. Because if you guys are a part of the Facebook group for the market, and if you are in the email group as well for the West Coast market, you should have seen that next week's Tuesday and Friday webinars are going to be part one and part two of the sales process itself broken down. Now, for those of you who may be first timers on these webinars, what I like to do is I like to host webinars based on what I've analyzed the market, all of you basically combined that I consult. I like to analyze the numbers and see exactly which areas, which revenue categories, where the weaknesses are the most, and follow the trend to what you guys need the most training in. But obviously, there is a master plan behind all of this, because if you have attended before, you've realized that we've covered management training, we've done staffing, we have done overcoming objections trainings. We've done how to actually upsell and how to sell the product, not product knowledge like retail and equipment ladies do for you. And we've done so many of those things. And now we have done the Reds webinar once before, but we all know that the two biggest weaknesses across the board for our locations that need strengthening obviously is guest traffic, getting people in the door, as well as retention, right? Because even if closing the deal or overcoming an objection isn't really your strongest suit, it's still, we need to have people to sell to, right? We need to get people in the door in the first place and get a plan together. And as you may have noticed on the Monday motivation calls, A couple of weeks ago, I started just making the marketing calendars for you guys and making it very simple and simplifying it for those of you who might have new spa directors or just have staff that you don't have a spa director that can just follow a task list, right? And if you're doing that and you're covering all of those bases, then you should be okay by incorporating that approach training that we did that was so beneficial for so many of you based on your feedback. So this all is going to tie into each other because next week when we cover part 1 and part 2 of the sales process, hopefully what's going to happen here is we're going to have aha moments based on today's webinar, based on last week's webinars and the week before and the week before, because now you're going to know how and why we do what we do and how to do it the right way, right? So it's all should tie into each other. And I know more than anybody in probably this entire office building that not every situation will be the same. You don't handle the approach to this person the same as you handle it to this person. Sometimes people have very specific situations that you have to figure out solutions to, right? You can't market to the same type of person using the same scripts and the same people. Sometimes you need to actually send a different consultant that's a totally different personality type to a specific event or promotion that would have the people that are attending there, the demographic that are attending these specific events, right? They may be more responsive with a male versus a female or vice versa. So it all boils down to this, and you guys know how obsessed I am with the how and the why and not just the what, because I know you guys, you're human and you guys are amazing already. You're leaders, you're natural born leaders already because you are in the role that you're in. So I don't need to educate you guys on why that's important. It's just a matter of passing this information down to the staff. And a couple of conversations that I've had yesterday and the day before with some spa directors within the market, it really enlightened me to realize that you guys need help with figuring this out, right? Because staff will make you question if you are good in your role, and that should never take place. You guys are good in your role. You have it. You're capable. It's just a matter of conforming to your consultant and understanding how they absorb information. We may have talked about that, touched on it once or twice before, but it's so super important that you could be the best manager in the world or the best franchisee in the world running a staff. You're very knowledgeable, you give great information, but maybe somewhere along the line your lines of communication were missed on particular items that were a priority, or maybe you were your whole life personally led by a specific type of a management style that has now been passed down to you onto your staffs, right? But what's happening is because you're used to that, you're thinking, where am I failing? And it's not you're not failing, it's your approach is failing, right? And maybe you just need to reassess yourself. And that's why when we talked about staffing a couple of weeks ago, we talked about assessing the team, right? And getting a SWOT analysis prepared and doing spa consultant, spa director evaluations. Whenever I had mentioned and we covered those bullets, I was very serious when I said assess yourselves, have your staff assess you. Tell them to provide you with that feedback, and don't be afraid, right? Because you need to know, if it's just your style, your management style, or if you need help from your franchisees, if it's you, maybe you need help from your spa director. Somebody's got to be a good cop and somebody's got to be a bad cop. If you know that you are not capable of being both, it's okay. Nobody's expecting you to be, franchisee spa director of the year all the time. So we're human. And I know for a fact, even though I was in stores and I had top spas, right? I had a ton of different weaknesses that my staff never failed to point out to me because I always asked. And that's important that you ask. And the self-entitlement is out of the window at this point when you say, where am I going wrong? Is the message not clear? Am I not motivating enough? Maybe I'm leading too much by fear and not by motivation, right? So before you pass down any of this stuff, and we get caught in the part 1 and part 2 of the sales process next week, we're going to go through the quadrants of marketing here. This is going to be beneficial for those of you who maybe don't remember this specific training, But it's been since the beginning of time that this has always been the basics of our marketing strategies here. Whenever you see our PB Times newsletter or our Spot Performance newsletter, or you get on our trainings and we talk about doing an internal push to your existing members, or pounding the pavement, quote unquote, right, to do community outreach and so on and so forth. What we're going to talk about today is how to get the guest traffic coming in, so this way, next week, we can tie the sales process into all of these people that you're going to be inviting in after you pass this training down to your staff. So be sure, you guys, that you assess yourselves as management and see, where am I going wrong here? For some reason, I'm doing it. I'm teaching them how to do it. They're not doing it for, they're giving me the excuse of this and that. Well, over time, if you don't pinpoint this and assess this off the bat, what's going to happen is you are eventually going to turn around and be the parrot to your staff, right? You're going to talk to us or your franchisee and say, this just doesn't work. We've tried it. Well, that's eventually going to take place there. And as well as I do, it does work because it's proven to have worked before. It all just comes down to the how. So wanted to make mention of that. And now we're going to go ahead and get into the 4-quadrant approaches of Planet Beach marketing. So, what is the 4 quadrants of Planet Beach marketing? Well, these are all of the different angles that you always hear and see on our communications when we talk to you guys, based on whatever advice that we're giving you, a campaign of the month, right? All of that it falls under a different type of a quadrant for us. And if you're using your daily marketing checklist, which hopefully all of you are doing at this point, because it's so helpful in the event that you can't possibly remember everything and all things to do as the spa director and franchisee in the spas every single day. With all that you have going on with collections and hitting goals and so on and so forth, you may remember to update your Facebook page or something, but then you may forget the rest. You don't remember the lead boxes. You don't remember to send somebody out for an hour because you need them just because one of the services are down and you're one man short because somebody called in sick. We don't think about that. That's why we use that. But the daily marketing checklist, all of it is based around a quadrant, a specific quadrant. And at the end of the day, if you're not using the daily marketing checklist, as long as you remember what these different quadrants are, then you should remember all of those tasks on your own. It should just come naturally, right? So that is based around our 4 quadrants. In quadrant 1, I'll go ahead and get started. Quadrant 1 is, if you've ever heard us say the term pound the pavement. This is, as you see on your screen, this is community outreach, guest passes, anything prospecting and lead gathering where you send your girls, your guys out for an hour a day with materials. Here's some brochures that we had printed up, right? Or here's an offer that we're running right now, a Groupon that maybe you're doing an internal Groupon push. That's been known to have been successful in the past. That's not necessarily with the vendor Living Social Groupon and things like that. That's a separate quadrant. But maybe you created your own flyers and you're doing your own outreach where you're sending staff out to go and get people set up with this. But it's anything and all things outreach to the community that you're using your current resources and tools to do. So when we configure our goals and how that ties in to this first quadrant of external marketing, and I provided you with some math here that you've probably been staring at for the last 5-10 minutes that I've been talking, but just to show you guys how this works out and how this pans out for you. If we were to have a staff of 6 consultants total, okay, that's 6, you may have 1 or 2 part-timers that work 2-3 hours a day every other day, or, maybe 15 hours a week kind of thing. Well, if 5 guest passes come back from each and every one of those consultants, you have 30 new guests coming in your door for a month. Make sure that first and foremost, as you see here, community outreach, this quadrant of marketing and prospecting, if they don't understand 100% that is a non-negotiable, then they are not one of the 5 indispensable components of a successful spa consultant. We've talked about the 5 indispensable components, and that is the marketing side of it. That is, if you have anybody right now on your staff that says, I don't want to make phone calls. I don't want to go out and talk to people. That's weird. I don't that makes me feel funny. It makes me feel awkward. It makes me feel like I'm soliciting. Then don't bother trying to train these people. This is that is a lack of a skill set that they have or they don't have. And you don't want to waste any of your time and burn yourselves out trying to train somebody that's not trainable. So that's a little piece of information I'll give you right there. But let's just say you have six little eagles, okay? And five of them, and each six of them have 5 guest passes that return. Now, however that comes back in is on them. Let's talk about the training for that for a second. They should all, at every moment of their lives, okay, carry guest passes. And they should always be replenishing it. And when you guys are having your weekly meetings or your daily shift turnovers, asking them, do you need more guest passes? Do you need a reload here? Because, I mean, the last time I gave you any, log that information in your management binders. Every time that you provide to them 100, 200, 300 guest passes, log that information so you can call any of them out in the event that they're like, no, I'm good. Well, that's funny because 3 weeks ago, when I gave you 50 guest passes, there's no possible way that you're going to reach your goal of having handed out, let's say if a spa needs to hand out 5,000 guest passes and you have 5 consultants, that's 1,000 each, right? If I gave you 50 guest passes 3 weeks ago and there's one more week left of the month, there's no way that you are going to hit your guest pass goal, right? That should all be recorded somewhere for you to be able to remember that. So how we do that is in our meetings, we need to find out where they're going, find out when we're talking about our goals, where are you at month to date, what current specials are happening and promotions and what's the product of the week and all this other stuff. You're talking to them. What you want to ask them is, okay, so where have you found to be the most successful places that you guys have handed guest passes out? And have them talk about it, right? Well, maybe this consultant likes to party a lot and she goes out to nightclubs and she goes and hands them out to the cocktail waitresses and bartenders and the front door guys and things like that. And you're getting a huge return rate on that. Maybe find out by calling somebody out who has a good return rate on those guest passes. So I've noticed that you are getting people coming back in like crazy on your passes that you're handing out. Where are you going? Share the success with us, right? So making sure that that's being communicated and finding out that information in front of other staffs, or if it's not in a meeting, finding out from them. And when you're having shift turnover discussions on, hey, today's your goal, here's today's goal for you in these categories. Just a little word of advice. I talked to Karen earlier and she said that she was able to get a ton of people come back when she found that it was very successful for her to go to that doctor's office down the street. So maybe you want to try doing that and seeing if you can go over there because we just set up a B2B with them, right? So providing that information. But however that happens, making sure it happens is important. Not just sending them out and then they go and stick it on people's cars. All that does is make them come back mad as I don't know what, saying that you owe them a car wash because it rained and it stuck to their windshield. I'm speaking from experience there. So, so let's do the math even further. Let's just say if 6 consultants had a return rate of 5 passes each, right? 30 new guests. Well, we know from our ratio, right, in our trainings we've had before that 10-4-2 rule, right? If you book 10, 4 will show, 2 will close. Well, let's say 30 guests at a 33% closing percentage. That's 10 new members. If you were to bring in 30 guests at that specific closing percentage based on that ratio we were just now talking about. And that's 10 new members from guest passes alone, you guys. So for those of you who have said in the past or currently tell me or tell your franchisees or franchisees who maybe get this from your spa directors, guest passes don't work. They do work. It's just a matter of how they're being distributed. Right? And that ties into that approach training. If you guys need to take that again, that link is somewhere on the Facebook group page. Just go through the main page of it. You'll see the recorded webinar. I highly recommend that you take that again. That way, if you want to do and try this guest pass approach, I could promise you, if you've tried it before and it didn't work, that has no bearings on why you shouldn't ever do it again, because it was probably with a staff that did not do it correctly, that refused to do it, or said they did it and did not and told you it didn't work. I've seen it all. I know exactly what the excuses are myself. So you guys don't swear it off. Try it over again, but then maybe this time before go back and take that approach webinar because it's so super beneficial. I'm going to chase you around with a guest pass. It's not going to be beneficial. But if I'm going to talk to you, I'm going to open up by complimenting something about you. I'm going to talk about how relaxation is almost a must have in our lives these days because of how high strung people are. We just live in a world where everything is go, 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 go. And medically, we have to incorporate wellness and relaxation, right? It's actually medically proven to help with not just increasing productivity in your day-to-day lives, but it's also helping you relax more, which we all know relaxing de-stresses. De-stresses longer lifespan, right? No, we're not going to have any issues as far as, heart problems and health problems, right? So it's super important that we know how to have those discussions with people to where we're showing them the WIFM when we're doing this quadrant one. If you don't show a WIFM and all you're doing is talking about Planet Beach, they think you're soliciting, you're aggravating them. And yeah, at that point, it does become harassment. So don't allow that to be an excuse anymore within your spas. Take that approach training webinar and make sure you knock that out. So prospecting, well, community outreach and prospecting, personal leads prospecting, that's another non-negotiable, right? A lot of the times, you guys will call me, Danielle, my gas traffic is like they're non-existent. I don't know what else to do. I've done this promotion. They go out and do this. They go out and do that. Well, you know what? Here's a skill set, management 101. Right? Well, maybe you need to have each and every one of them post on their personal pages and say it's Employee Appreciation Week and my boss is letting me give away wellness and beauty services. So you guys message me right now and don't miss out on this because I can give you a day, a week, however long, right, that you guys want to provide the offer. And I could give this to you guys, and you don't have to pay for anything because you're friends of mine. So don't miss out. Message me your phone number, your email address, and I'm going to contact you and let you know what our availabilities are. That's what their posts need to say. Not Planet Beach is offering blah, 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 blah. No, that's too gimmicky. That's too salesy. I wouldn't respond to that. But, if I had a friend saying my boss is let me give away free beauty services, a week membership to anybody who's friends of mine, I'm hitting you up because I'll take anything at that point if it seems like it's because I have a hookup, right? It's a psychology trick. So this is another non-negotiable. And the staff needs to understand how to utilize their own personal network to be able to capitalize. And I'll use Ohio as an example. You guys have heard about the first LA Fitness that opened up in Columbus. All of us at some point here in Spa Performance has gone out there. It's gorgeous, by the way. Well, this is a perfect example of doing that. When we were interviewing and hiring for staff out there, one of the reasons, if you guys have or haven't noticed, that we ask the question on finding out how long that particular person has lived in the area and how connected they are is because we want to utilize their connections. All it takes, you guys, is one member. And I want to talk about this for a second because I feel as if many of you need to get this to understand this a little bit. If I opened up a Planet Beach franchise and I was the only person working in that store on day one, which should never be the case because after all the preparations that we provide and stuff, that should never be the case. But I'm talking worst case scenario. My doors open up day one. All I know in the back of my mind, I have this end goal that I need to make X amount of dollars by this specific date in order to not lose my butt off. Well, I know for a fact all I need is one person. I need to find one person to come in that I need to dedicate my entire focus on giving the ultimate experience. I'm talking, I am going to wine and dine them. I'm going to treat it as if it's a first date, and I want this person to fall madly in love with me. That's how dedicated I'll be because all I need is one member to be able to create success. What do I mean by that? Well, one member comes in, and what's going to happen after that is they're going to spread the word. I'm going to incentivize that one member to say, you know what, now that I've made you a member, what I want to do is I want to pay for your membership. I want to pay for your program. And how I can do that is, who do you want to give a week membership away to? As many as you like. Give me some names. Just rattle them off. Why don't you go ahead and pull out your phone here? We'll work together because as much as you love using these services, I want to give them to you because you're my most valued member here. You're my first one. And then everything else should be able to snowball off of that. because those people will come in and become members. And then those people will give referrals, and those people will, you will prospect their specific personal networks, which will then grow and grow and grow, kind of like an epidemic, right? So I understand in the back of my mind that I need to have staff that is connected in within the community, just like Ohio had, because there was a specific consultant over there is the top salesperson because they're so well connected within the community. Now, that doesn't mean fire people that you have that may have just moved to the area. That's obviously not a very fair approach, but that also means giving them the time to be able to become a part of the community and become a part of different groups, different, I don't know, PTA conferences, the schools in their areas. That'll eventually take place. That doesn't mean that they're not important to you, because they'll still be prospecting, right, externally, but make sure anybody you hire here on out is very well connected within the community. And what I mean by that is they have friends that manage the most popular restaurant in the area, or they go to dancing classes at the most popular or the only dancing school within your 2 to 3 mile radius of your spa, right? Or things like that. Work at a very high, very popular nightclub. If they do some part-time work there, holy cow, that is a huge gold mine. So personal leads and prospecting, it's a non-negotiable when it comes to staff. Like, you will be asked to go out and pull in your personal network of people. And B, why wouldn't you? I'm not just going to bark that order at you, because look at what the WIFM is for you. Let's do the math here. If you sell 3 new members a day, look at the commissions on this, right? And motivating them by showing them that's so super huge. So if you had 6 consultants that provided 30 names, right? So it's 30 names, numbers, and email addresses, of course, not just names and numbers anymore, because we do utilize email blasts. If you have 30 and you have 6 consultants, that's 180 leads that show up to your spot. Let's just give you that average 33% show rate. You get 60 new guests coming in your door. Let's give another average of 33% of a closing rate. Look at that, 20 new members just from your employees' personal network of people, right? So looking at the math there, 20 new members from just this specific quadrant of prospecting and their personal leads, and 10 new members from guest passes when doing it correctly. That's the 30 new member. If your goal is 30 new members a month, you can get that all from just this one quadrant and not even have to touch anything else, right? It's just a matter of management and making sure that your tell, show, do training is on point to be able to understand that this is not just here, this is a tasked item. They need to know this is not a task item. That doesn't mean come back with no guest passes, because then they could just dump it in a trash can. This is something that you have to strategize with them and have them do on you. A lot of your staff do not like to role play because they just feel weird about it. They feel awkward. Don't let that be a situation. Don't let them feel like it's an awkward situation. Tell them and encourage them to screw up when you role play, because that is the best time to be able to do that in order for you to make sure you're writing big checks to them, right? Don't feel stupid. Don't feel uncomfortable. Don't feel like I'm judging you, or don't think I'm going to fire you, or think you're stupid, right? If this is the time that I want you to screw up, because chances are, if this is what you're doing out there, this is why you're not making money now. And what ends up happening there? The staff that don't make money, then they start screaming about wanting to have more hours, right? Or, I don't clean toilets for $8.50 an hour. That's always a wonderful one, right? You'll start hearing that. You don't need to be making $8.50 an hour. That's what I don't want to have happen. I don't want you to just not show up on Sunday where I have to leave church early and go open the spa, because I'm going to be good and angry. I'll really need to ask for forgiveness after that, right? So make sure that you understand how to do the approach with the training on this, because if you do not, it's just going to keep failing for you guys. So let's talk about quadrant 2. Quadrant 2 is a completely different angle. So we talked quadrant 1, right? Those are the community outreach of guest passes and your personal network among your employees. Quadrant 2, this is more on a bigger level, right? This is still external. It's cooperative promotions. That's VIP business partners. Like you guys have learned on this specific week, or the week before, I'm sorry, the VIP business partners of the week. all of that stuff, that's all quadrant 2 marketing that we're doing, showcasing them, business of the day, right? Because that was a specific week that we put focus on this quadrant. Monthly promotion, maybe you guys have an event calendar for your cities. This is something I used to do. I know it used to be so beneficial. Any and all things that were happening, like festivals, concerts, dog park stuff, any like the fun little things that you find on your city's calendars. Do you have something set up with them where you have a monthly promotion somewhere where it's a big, you have a table, maybe a TV, you might bring some products out there, and you have your menu of services book or a tablet, but you're collecting leads, right? Businesses of the month. We had businesses of the day last week when we had our VIP business partner week specifically for lead generation. We did it daily, but usually we have it showcased for the month. That's another WIFM, in case you guys have never allocated a B2B in your life for some reason. That's another WIFM for the business. We're showcasing you to all of our members, and we have a big member database and customers too. People that are not in our member database but still just come in and purchase a Mystic session or two a month, right? We have traffic coming in and out of our doors, whether it's new or older. And your business is smack dab in the middle if you're chosen for the business of the month that we basically randomly pull each month. So what does that mean? We have all of your specific coupons out. We have a poster size. We get a poster size artwork that's put on our bulletin board in our hallway that all of our members see. Sign up sheets to be able to come into your place of business. Coupons for maybe it's retail. I don't know, but that's another quadrant when setting up. That's another WIFM for a business when setting that up. But these are the different quadrants. So you see the math here that's shown, that I'm probably not going to need to break that down for you if you're looking at the screen. But what I do want to talk about is this is another approach situation. Now, many of you do not do B2Bs. Why? Because that's out of sight, out of mind. That's the last thing you need to be worried about with payroll coming up and making sure that you're staffed for the rest of the month. And you got to make sure you're doing your collections outreach because you haven't had a chance to get around to doing that because maybe somebody called in sick yesterday and you're ready to strangle somebody. You're stressed out. Maybe something's broken in your spa and you're dealing with trying to figure out a way to pay for that. I know, I understand, but that's why we always follow our checklist, right? So if you're not training your staff on how to do this, you're just telling them how to do this, it's fine that you get on this webinar and learn these quadrants again, but it's never going to pay off for you. What's going to happen to you? You're going to get burnt out. And you're probably once amazing, right? Maybe you're still amazing, but if you ever felt like, at one point I felt like I was just so much better at my job, these are the kind of things that you don't even realize ties directly into that. So promotions and VIP business partnerships, monthly staff promotions, do the research, do the tell, show, do training, and understand that all of these things will fail unless you showcase the WIFM and less about what you are. Have them make it to where they're asking you questions about Planet Beach and spend more of your time with these businesses and at these promotions. Spend more of your time with the end goal of trying to showcase WIFMs. What's in it for me, right? In case you don't know what I keep saying when I say WIFM and you're new, I'm sorry, I kind of need to break that down for you. What's in it for them? I'm not going to go and meet with a manager at a local business and say, we're a spa, we offer this, we offer that. I don't need to do that. We have an app that can do that for us, and all you need to say is for further information on how our services provide beauty and wellness benefits, just download the app because there's small videos that cover each and every service that we offer. It does it for you. So don't spend the little time that you have there to rope them in and get them to say yes on explaining who you are. Because all you're doing at that point is making them feel like they're wasting time because they're busy and they're not going to work with you because it's soliciting. Right? That's all it is. And you guys know as managers and franchisees, people come door to door to you or call you. You're like, look, I ain't got time for this. Tell me what you got, right? Tell me what you have for me because I'm not going to set something up with you. What do I benefit from this? So keep that in mind and have your staffs understand that, right? Tell them, look, I want to scratch your back if you scratch mine. Here's how we can make more money by working together. That's what they want to hear. They want to hear how Planet Beach is going to benefit them when it comes time to cash out at the end of the month, right? Well, what are we going to bring to you? We have a huge member database, first of all, so you're going to be in the eyes and ears of them. We have our member appreciation parties, which are once a month, where you could basically reserve a time to come in and showcase your product or service to our members. We'll allow you to come in here, right here in the lobby. If you're a hair salon, if you are maybe you're a nail salon, maybe you want to bring some pedicure stuff and you can perform them, in the back or in the lobby. I don't know, you're a clothing boutique, bring some of the hottest items that you have to showcase it to our members. You're more than welcome to come and try and, sell at our member appreciation parties because you're a VIP business partner. You can make a lot of money off of us. All we want in return, all we'd ask is let us set up shop over there for 1 or 2 hours once a week and put an enter to win basket out, right? And that's not even a whiff them for us, right? That's a whiff them for them again, because that's going to make them above all of their competitors. That's going to make them stand out above anybody else that they compete with, because guess what? When it comes down time to figure out what boutique they want to get this cute little dress at for an upcoming event, if they know that if they go to this specific store, that they get free spa services, right? They can get spa treatments if they go to this store versus going and buying probably the same dress at another boutique down the street. That gives them another, upper hand in that situation. So making sure that your staff is fully trained on understanding that approach, what's in it for the other businesses, and not just going on and on and on about what Planet Beach is and what you would like to do with them, right? Okay, so this is Planet Beach. I'm going to spend 5 to 10 minutes and you're already bored and already lost you. And then I'm going to move immediately into, so is it okay if I set up a lead box in here? No, absolutely not. Then you're going to deal with corporate doesn't let us, which that's always never true, but that used to happen to me all the time. Our corporate office has to approve it, but they don't even have a corporate office after you Google them, and it makes you feel kind of stupid. So, a little bit of math on this, the promos, right? The promotions at the different VIP or your B2Bs that you establish, right? Let's just say you have a promotion there from establishing this. Now remember, this is our number 2 biggest lead generating tactic company-wide after researching this. Number 1 is internal referrals, but the second biggest lead generating tools that we have all come from B2Bs. So keep that in mind. If this is something you haven't done or tried and failed at and haven't touched again, definitely revisit it after taking that approach webinar and being prepared to. So if you had just for VIP business partners, okay, with a 33% closing percentage, let's just say that you had, you're required to get a minimum of 20 VIP business partners along with the lead box program, projected goal of 60 new guests per month. That's 60 guests that come in. If you have a 33% closing percentage, you're looking at 20 new members in that specific month. Now keep in mind, you guys, 33 is the average closing percentage across the board. That is okay, and that's based on not how many they're selling. That doesn't have anything to do with how many they're actually selling. This is based on with the traffic that's coming into our spas company-wide right now, who are they closing? That's where we're at right now, is 33%. So this is you're more than likely falling into that number, if not better. So if your closing percentage is even more than this, then you're even more than 20 members in just from doing B2B partnerships. Monthly staff promotions, we talked about that just now when we were talking about event calendars on what's going on, what's happening in your community, what's happening in your areas. Where are you going to set up shop where you can get some leads, right? And we always remember, write this down. If you guys are taking any notes on this, writing this down is key, that it's not a successful promotion or marketing campaign if you're not getting names, numbers, and emails. If you're passing things out, that is a secondary task. That is an actual task item right there, is handing those things out. That's in the event you're in the middle of getting somebody's information and you don't want this person that's walking past who looks interested to walk away empty-handed, but you physically can't get their information, right? That's something that you do in those cases at a monthly promotion or a big event outside promotion. That's if you're just like shorthanded, right? So you always want to give them something in hand to be able to take with them, because you can't break that relationship that you're building at that moment. Allocating the person you're talking to, getting their information is key. So it's not successful if you go out and you're just handing out things, right? You have to do something to get names, numbers, email addresses. Now that should be coming from 2 different avenues when you do this. That should be coming from approaching somebody. Hey, I love those shoes. I wanted to ask you. I saw you walking by earlier. I had to ask. I'm actually looking for a pair of shoes like similar to that because I have this outfit. Right? No, you're not. You're just you need an approach, right? You need something to rope them in that's not going to be that annoying fragrance counter girl that's chasing you around the department store, getting you to want to smell her perfume. You don't want to do that. That's getting them to open up to you and their guards down. And people love talking about themselves. It's a human nature thing. I don't know what it is, mainly women, especially our demographics. So you're winning already if you compliment them and ask them where they get it, because they love talking about themselves, right? At that point, you're just creating a relationship from there. And they should, at that point, open up and say, so what is Planet Beach? Or so what are you guys offering here today? Right? That's the best when they ask you and you don't have to bring it up. So that should be happening as your outreach, right? But then also another angle is an enter to win of something. Whether you bring a lead box out, enter to win a program membership, that's all honestly the last case scenario, because at this point you need to educate people on what it is in order for them to want to enter, right? So consider raffling product bundle. Put together a mock basket or the actual basket that you're going to raffle off and make it worth their while, and put a dollar amount on what the value is and say, enter to win this. Just all we need is your name, your phone number, your email address to let you know if we pulled your name. That's so many leads, right? Or enter to win a cruise or trip, or you have B2B partners now, right? So get a bunch of gift certificates or gift cards or products or services from the B2Bs you set up with and throw it all in there. The more value that's built on whatever you're raffling off, the more leads that you're going to get from that. So keep that in mind, that you need to make sure you're not sending people out to hand things out. That is not promoting, that is not prospecting, that might be marketing because it is brand awareness to a level, to an extent, but chances are those of you who right now or beginning of this webinar have said, I don't do guest passes, they just don't work, chances are that's probably why they didn't work for you in the past, because that's how you were marketing. Nobody's going to get off their couch when they get off from a long day of work and they have to cook and clean at home. They're not going to leave the house for something they found at the bottom of their purse and forgot was there. So keep that in mind. It's not a successful promotion if you do it that way. So if you do it the correct way, you should have, and based on 6 consultants that do one combined event per month, the goal is to have spa consultants generate 5 guests each from that, equaling 30 new guests. So with 30 new guests at a 33% closing percentage, that should be 10 members right there. So now you see why we always say, do you have your 4 promotions per month scheduled, right? That's if you have at least 4 consultants, that's just one a month that they're required to do, where they can at least say they've brought 5 guests in from that. If they bring 5 in from that, on top of doing their community outreach, right, setting up those B2Bs, look at all these members, look at all that commission. Ooh, right, they want to hear that. They want to hear that they can make that kind of money. So that's 10 new members just from a promotion per consultant alone. Now, corporate outreach and B2B businesses of the month programs, let's just say you got to have 1 select business of the month and corporate outreach promotion. The goal there is to generate 30 new guests from that. And with a 33% closing percentage, you have another 10 new members. So all that added up, that's 40 new members just from Quadrant 2. I mean, honestly, guys, it's, again, tying in the how to do this, not just what to do. Don't just tell them to go set up a B2B or tell them what you've done in the past and say that this is how you do it. There's so many other ways to do B2Bs and set it up, right? It could be, let us come over here and promote. It could be staple a guest pass to the back of every receipt for products purchases that you guys have when you put them in the bags. And as long as you keep doing that, you can keep using our services as long as we keep seeing a return from those, right? It could be simply leaving something on a table if they don't want to work with you, leaving guest passes on their counter, lead boxes, anything. It's not just one avenue. And if you feel like you're not 100% educated on the B2B program itself or VIP business partnerships yourself, like as the leaders of the clan, call me. Email me. I have no problem going through a training with you guys and giving you ideas and giving you these tools. I know that one of the Dallas market locations reached out to me and said, look, Danielle, I got nothing. What do I do? We had a 30-minute conversation that was probably the most beneficial for this spa director because she wrote down 2 pages of ideas all based around B2B. So this is something I can do with you guys. All you have to do is request that. But this can happen. It is doable for you. You just have to figure out how to make it happen and explain why it's important and explain to them how to do it, because that just gets demotivating. Nobody wants to be, look stupid in front of their boss. So if your consultants do or don't understand, even if you ask them, do you get it now? Do you get it yet? They're not going to say no most of the time because they don't want to feel stupid or feel like, who wants to look like that in front of their boss? They'll just nod their head. So making sure that you do the whole role play situation, that's so important. Quadrant 3, now we're moving into internal promoting. This is all but in your four walls you've heard us talk about before. Quadrant 3 marketing, that is our member appreciation party, and that is our number one lead generating tool that we have company-wide that our members get the most leads from. Our Covington location, Longview, Texas, Houston, Rice, those top spas that you're like, what the heck are they doing in there? This is their number one lead generating tool ever, hands down. Now, let's talk about the internal member referral promotion, or as you guys may know it, the ambassador program. So this is the most important promotion that we must do. This is a non-negotiable. This should honestly be a part of your consultant's day-to-day activities or conversations that they have when your members are coming in each and every day. Changing up whenever members call and book their service appointments by adding one question can turn your guest traffic situation 100% completely around. And what I mean by that is when they book their appointment, for when they reach out and they call, hey, Miss Mary, I noticed we have a couple of other spa services available at the same time. I know you're coming at lunch. Do you have anybody from the office that would maybe want to come in and take advantage of this? Remember, you are a member and you get guest privileges by doing this. So, anybody can come and they'll be treated like a member for a day. That right there in itself, if you could just get your staff to start doing that, write that down if you're not. Making it become a part of their job and actually following a disciplinary approach if they do not do this will have them doing this in their sleep. It'll be second nature to them. And that's all it takes. And even if it's a member that calls and books every single day, that's okay. Don't not ask that person just because, they keep telling me no, that they don't want. Well, you know what? Your response to them each and every time should always be, Miss Mary, I know I ask you this all the time, but I just want to let you know, just in case something might have changed or maybe you have a visitor in the office, maybe you're in sales, right? Maybe you have a member in sales that want to come in and get a facial or get sprayed on their lunch break, and they have a client that they have to meet with right before. Hey, how great would that make that member look to be able to close that sale to bring in, I'm going to treat you to a day of spa. Right? That could be part of their job and you could be helping that member. What a great experience, right? So just an example, they don't think about these things. Is there anybody you would want to look good to and bring them in and enjoy this? I know I ask you this every single day, but sometimes these members don't remember and they'll go, oh, you know what? Yeah, because my aunt flew in out of town for somebody's birthday and she is with me, so instead of leaving her at my house, I think I'm going to come. Or I'll pick her up from my house and bring her back before I have to go back to work. They don't think about it, so that's why it's important to stay vocal and stay in their minds and in their ears like this. So write that down if you're not doing it, because that's the easiest thing to do. Not to mention, throw birthday parties for your members. They're thinking it's a birthday party after hours on like a Saturday or a Sunday. Hey, look, we can accommodate 7 or 8 people. Happy birthday, Planet Beach, part of your member benefits package is that we throw a birthday party for you and up to, 6 of your closest friends and family. We'll get you a little cake from the store, right? It's only like $6-7 at most at the grocery store to get a little cake that you can make for that member, right? And if you want to have any specific food or beverages, you're more than welcome to bring that yourself, but bring anybody you want. That's 6 or 7 people or 8 people, however many you can accommodate. That's reds, guys. That's names, numbers, and email addresses of people you're going to get there, and you're going to have the opportunity to provide the utmost experience, even more so than you would if they came in when you were open, because now your phones aren't ringing, and if they are, you don't have to answer it because you're not open. You don't have other members to accommodate and try to upsell to, right? You don't have any other distractions going on, so you can give them the utmost customer experience at these birthday parties if you start incorporating them to where they're not going to want to leave without signing up to become a member. And you know what? They don't do it that day. It's not the end of the world. Say, just as a thank you for joining our valued member, Kara, for attending her birthday party, and as a thank you for coming in and using our services, we want to grant you a week 1 week membership for free. And what you're doing there is inviting them back, and you have another chance to be able to get them forming a habit, right? And then having an opportunity to get them using the services every day, because if they miss a day, they can't get it back. It's 7 consecutive days. So you see, knowing that skill set, knowing how to incorporate that ambassador program in your day-to-day activities is key. Remember the good power words, right? If I go to you and say, hey, have you heard about our ambassador program? Some of you might bite, right? I would bite, I think. I mean, it all depends on how this person approached me. But hey, have you ever heard about our ambassador program? Basically, what that means is if you refer one person that signs up, then we give you a month for free. If you get 5, we get a year for free. If you get 10, you get a lifetime for free. So is there anybody that you want to go ahead and sign up to come in that we could give free services to and see if they sign up and become a member? Now to me, it sounds okay, right? That sounds, and it's probably what you guys are currently doing when you try this. Now here's where the failure falls. Approaching, hey, have you heard about our ambassador program, is, hey, have you heard about something I'm trying to sell you, is what the consumer hears. Let's think about how they're translating what you're saying for a second. They hear, hey, have you heard about this, because this is what I'm trying to do and I want to take your money some kind of way. Instantly, they could shut down. So don't lose them off of your opening line. However, you can flip that around and say, hey, have you heard about how we can pay for your membership? Ding, ding, ding. To me, I'm going, no, but I want to know how you can pay for my membership, because we all know saving money is like top priority this day and age, right? So that right then and there will get the guard down to where at this point, they're asking you all the questions and you don't have to say anything but answer them. So breaking it down even further to say, well, how can I do that? Well, all you need to do is just basically gift a week membership to as many people as you like. What we do there is we're telling them there's the WIFM. You're gifting a week membership to anybody I like at no cost. Are you serious? So the member looks great, right? We're going to call them and say this member got you a week membership at our location because we're having our member appreciation month, brand awareness month. So we were allowing our members to be able to take advantage of gifting a week membership to anybody of their choice, and they chose you. So hey, there's another WIFM for them. They're going to look great. What's the end goal? You know what? I'm not going to solicit your friends, Miss Mary. I'm not going to bother them or push any sales on them. That's not what I'm trying to do, right? We don't want Miss Mary to believe that. What we're doing is we're just gifting them this. And what we're noticing, because so many members are gifting these week memberships away, we've noticed so many people signing up from that, and they don't even realize, they don't even remember our ambassador program. So it ends up working out for our members who are giving away these memberships, because what's happening is these people are signing up and these members aren't paying for their membership at all. And so it's actually benefiting the member in so many different ways. And what you're doing there, when you say it that way, you're giving a testimonial, which is the best sales tactic there is. Show me some results from what you're trying to sell me, right? We're giving a real life testimonial of most of our members that are doing this aren't having to pay for the next couple of months, because what's happening is these people are loving it the same way that they did. You know, they love it just as much. They're becoming members, and that's our ambassador program. I don't know if you remember that or not, but we have that ambassador program for you guys. So when people sign up that you send in here, you don't have to pay for your membership. We pay for it. And you're removing that gimmicky free, right? If you want something for free, you can get something for free. Yeah, but what do I have to do for you first? That's kind of makes people puts a bitter taste in their mouth, right? But if you say we pay for their membership, wow, right? So that gives a bigger impact. So remembering power words is what makes this specific quadrant so effective, because all the other person's hearing, if you do not utilize your approach better and understand to put your consumer cap on, right? If you're not paying attention to this and you're just saying this is our ambassador program, refer, don't use that word. That's a negative, that's a sales word, right? We don't want them to see that we're trying to sell anyone. They will go, no, I'm not going to give you my friends and my family's personal contact information for you to solicit. Are you on drugs? What's going on? Why would you ever ask me that? So don't chance for them to translate what you're trying to convey incorrectly based on improper word use. Good power words, positive power in words impact is key. So if we were using the ambassador program, which most of our top spas do, all of them do actually, it's going to be factored at a higher closing percentage of 50%. Why is that? Well, if you guys don't know already, the ambassador program, you have a higher closing percentage on this because it's you're getting references, you're getting referrals from people who have already been sold on this. And last case scenario, worst case scenario, if a member sees the value in your own pitch, right? But they only hear one part of it, and that is, oh, I can get my membership for free. Like, you're going to pay for my program package, whatever it is that I have, you will pay for it. I don't care what my friends say. I'm the kind of person, physically, myself, I'm going to call Lindsay. I'm going to call all of my friends and I'm going to say, hey, listen, I got you a week membership at my spa. So I need you to help me out because the last couple of months have been slow at work. I've not been making a whole lot. Just go sign up, please, because I get for a free membership if I do that. And if you do the same thing, you get the same. So this would be really helpful for me because I was going to have to cancel my membership, but I need you to come through for me and go in there and just sign up for the membership. So that's why you have a higher closing percentage when it comes to ambassadors, because these are people that are out there basically like mini spa consultants out in the field for you, right? They're marketing for you and they're a living, breathing testimonial of what your services and products do, right? They have a great looking sunless spray tan, or maybe they have awesome, amazing bright white teeth, or they've lost weight on our services. I mean, they're living, breathing proof that our services deliver results. Not to mention the girls over there, the guys over there, they're so awesome and sweet and kind. I just go over there sometimes just so I can vent about my boyfriend, and they'll sit there and they'll talk to you, and they're so sweet. They give you a birthday present. They bring you something, little gifts. And the positive, this is where the customer service and experience all ties into this. Because if you do everything else correctly, we all know that the customer experience and poor customer service will completely kill that and actually work in your opposite. Here, if you happen to get referrals from people that don't like the experience you give to them, they'll say, yeah, just take advantage of the week and don't sign up because I'm telling you, you're not going to like going in there. I hate going in there as it is because those girls are always just catty and talking about people, and yeah, just take advantage of it, get the free stuff and get out of there, right? So that could backfire on us too. So you have to make sure that you're creating that customer experience in that good environment. So if we have a 50% closing percentage on this, word of mouth is the best marketing and advertising that you can do. The goal is to create 2 referral guests per day. That is hands down, no doubt easy. Off the bat with simply changing your phone script up a little bit by saying, do you want to bring somebody in with you, right? You could probably get that from just doing that alone, not to mention being vocal to everybody coming in and out during the day. So 2 guests by times 30 days, if 30 days are in a month, that's 60 guests a month with a 50% closing percentage. Do you see now why this is so successful for our top spas? Because it's 30 new members. I think, and as a matter of fact, Chino Hills does this right now. We didn't even get into external marketing with our phase program on building their net EFT up. And this is honestly probably their most successful approach right now, if I'm not mistaken, is doing the member referrals, right? Because now the members have a reason to they're being vocal about it and they're talking to them about it like consumers, like friends, right? Like, I don't want you to pay for this anymore. You've been a member with us for so long. I mean, I want to get it set up where you don't have to pay for it anymore because you've been so amazing. You've brought us so much business and we appreciate you for that. You look and feel amazing. You always talk about it. You always post testimonials for us. Let us do something. Let us give back, right? They know how to talk to their members, and you need to learn how to do that as well. So moving into member appreciation. Well, member appreciation for most of you, I'd probably say 80% of you are still just doing the 20% off of products and food is offered, right? Maybe you post on your Facebook pages. Maybe you send out an email. But this is the most of what you do. Now, some of you, I do know you run promotions on your services, on your packages, and your programs. Maybe you do some kind of special for your enrollment. You run a promotion on your paid in fulls. But all in all, member appreciation party has now shifted. It is not any longer anything to do with providing discounted stuff to existing people. That's not what our end goal is. Our end goal is on this specific day. Now think back. If you are a Planet Beach franchisee or spa director from the beginning of time, or for the years now, okay, you probably remember the point of what used to be called customer appreciation party. It was to drive in fire sales. The point used to be, It's the last Thursday of the month. We only have a good week left. If we run a specific, like, end all be all promotion on these specific items, then we're going to drive in some last minute revenue so that we have a shot at exceeding our goals, and driving in like a higher velocity of sales, right? But we've shifted that, but we haven't forgotten it. Let's not get that twisted. We've not forgotten the point of being able to bring in more sales, but our priority has got to be focused on that staff has got to know 50 red appointments on this specific day is our Super Bowl goal, right? I say Super Bowl goal because that is, if you're getting 50 reds on this day, I will literally dance at your wedding, me personally, because that would be awesome. It's not impossible, but we set that bar super, super high because our goal is to increase our net EFT. Now, not to get retail sales because that has profit margins that could be very low if your staff is incorrectly discounting or discounting too much, or you take a chance with that. You're gambling with that. You're paying royalties on that. You're paying credit card merchant fees on that. You're paying commissions out. I mean, the list goes on. That and membership cash as well. Same thing goes for that. So that's why we're always putting that push. Lately we've been, for the last couple of years, the main artery of our spot is our net EFT, our draft. We can't do anything without a higher draft, right? That way, when it is the slower parts of the month and the times of the year, we're not sweating as much and freaking out as much, and we're still able to be doing well because we have a draft so high. So why do we have 50 reds on this day? Well, probably figured it out by now because we're trying to get new members in the door. Members is what our focus is, right? So this is a specific math equation that we sort of put together for you for a visual of, let's just say you get 30, right? Well, if you have a goal that has a minimum of 5 guests per of your 6 staff members, and you have 30 guests for member appreciation. This isn't even the 50 goal because, again, even if you get 30 out of setting the goal to be 50, if you have a 33% closing percentage, that's 10 new members, and that's 40 total new members just from Quadrant 3. But think here outside of the box, you guys, because if you have 30 guests that maybe 20 of them are ambassadors, then you have a 50% closing percentage. So those 10 new members from MAP could be actually higher, right? Because what if, for the most part, they are member referrals? So you could potentially get 60 new members in 1 month just from doing this specific quadrant of internal push. It's all internal marketing. So, and it's all about how you utilize your resources and your positive power words. So moving into the last quadrant, quadrant 4, these are your universal promotions. These are your promotions to your demographics. This is where you actually spend the money to drive your guest traffic in. What falls into that? Groupons, Living Socials, Amazon Local. And those are just to name a few. Maybe you have coupon clipping magazines in your local area, newspaper, radio advertisement, TV commercials, any type of public relations campaign, right? Where you're actually spending the money to be able to drive this traffic in. Now, universal marketing and public relations campaign, the goal is to generate a minimum of 2 guests per day or 60 guests per month. Now, that should be easy to do if you guys are running a daily deal, and doing it that way. So realistically, we try to aim to get 2 guests a day coming in off of that. And what's the purpose there is to buy it back, right? We talked about the buy it back program. But 60 guests a month at a 33% closing percentage is 20 new members alone just from that one quadrant. So make sure that you understand in full of each of these quadrants and each of the angles taken and how the approach ties into each and every one of them, because you can, again, perform all 4 of these. But if your approach is all incorrect, if your staff isn't looking the part, if the experience is not there, maybe you don't have skill set among your staff members to understand when people come in with a Groupon, that's not it. You don't just place them into the services. You have to see those people when they walk in and train them to say, when you see somebody walk in with that little voucher in their phone or in their hand that they printed up, they need to go, okay, this is where the show starts. Game face is on. What does the spa sound like at that moment that they walked in? Do they have radios playing? Do you have bounce rap music playing in the different tanning beds that you might have still in your spa that's going off? Do you have your hair in a bun? Is it looking messy? Did you put makeup on? Because if so, you probably just killed it. probably just killed that opportunity. Good luck of ever repairing that and being able to close a different program package on them and buying anything back, right? What's it smell like in there? Does it smell like a spa, or does it, smell of sweat, and maybe it just stinks in there in general? Does the trash need to be taken out? Does it smell like it's relaxing, right? Do you have candles going? Do you have beverages that you're offering them? Are you greeting with swell, getting them to sign the guest register? All these things, right? Making sure when you train them on this that they understand that from the moment. And that's a good, write that down if you want to use that training tactic. When you see somebody coming in saying, hey, I got this Groupon, I purchased this Living Social coupon online, tell them that very moment they could go into character. It's almost like a play. They become actors and actresses. We don't care if you're having a bad day. I don't care if you and your boyfriend broke up that you dated for 3 years. It was like you were like almost married. No, we don't care. That's not the customer's fault. That's not the customer's problem. So we need to make sure they know to get in character. The game face must go on, and they must put on that entire show. It becomes a show. Right? And if they don't cover all the things that you train them on what to do with that, guess what? They're going to go to approach a buy it back opportunity. Those people aren't going to see any kind of value in spending $59 a month over there or $89 a month. They won't see any value in that because they're going to go, this place is a joke. I went there thinking I was going to get all relaxed and stuff. All I can hear was the rap music playing or the country music playing, and that girl up there was on the phone talking about, I don't know, her boyfriend and how he cheated on her. It was just, there was too much going on. I couldn't even relax. I wish I never would have bought it at all. I wonder if I could get my money back, right? That's when that kind of stuff happens. So understand, you guys, that if you're a spa director, your franchisees don't buy Groupons or sign up for Groupon or Living Social or Daily Deals specials just for that instant money that they make that these other outside vendors like Groupon, Living Social, Amazon Local, all of those people, they get a chunk of that, right? So that's not just a drive-in memcash and to record that revenue later. It's not money in the bank right away. Yeah, that's a perk. But the purpose that they're doing this is so that you can lead your team to be able to understand and have the skill set to say, this person will not get to all 5 of those sessions that we're offering for $59 or whatever, right? That person is going to use one today, if that, and I'm going to incentivize her and say, I won't even count that against you if you let me buy that back and make you a member with us, because I know you're going to be hooked on this, and look how amazing you look. They need to know and understand. If they don't have that skill set, this, Quadrant 3, Quadrant 2, Quadrant 1, none of it is going to benefit you guys. And when you say something doesn't work, the guest pass doesn't work, the $50 gift certificate, that doesn't work, well, that's one of your best tools right there we didn't even talk about, is your $50 gift certificate. If you're handing it out like candy, people see that. You're a consumer. What's the first thing that you would think of if that doesn't work for you in your area? And it's because you guys are like passing it out like crazy, handing it out like it's air, as free as air, right? What's the first thing you would think of if you were a consumer? Oh, there must be a catch. I'm not going in there. There's no way that they're throwing $50 out there like it's nothing. So there's got to be some kind of catch. I'm not interested. That's whenever they walk right past you, put their hand up and go, mm-mm. So whenever you say that these things don't work, what is it that you're doing, right? So contact me about that. I would love nothing more than to be able to do that with you and have a training with you to get you to understand it fully, where you're confident to pass it along to your staffs. Now, I have this in front of you if you're looking at this, the 4 Quadrants math breakdown document. This is on Orion as well. What I just showed you here, the approach, if you want to get that and take that out later on to use for your training, by all means, do so. That's in the Spa Performance, where you can go in the prospecting and marketing folder and find that. You can find this as well, the 4 Quadrants math breakdown. This way you can have a visual. Now, franchisees usually do this with their spa directors, where their spa directors then take it to the staffs. However you happen to run your org chart in your spa, you would have the appropriate person see to it that this gets done. This is sort of a training breakdown of how we got these numbers that you see here with the 60 guests at a 33% closing percentage is 20 new members, right? It sort of does a breakdown training for you. And it gives you the what ifs. It gives you the examples of, how to get them to think along the lines of being able to have the skill set to be able to approach closing these different members. And it breaks it down into steps. This, very, 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 very beneficial, and provides a small training. See, tips, pre and post shift consult with each spa sales consultant, and their spa director or franchisee will ensure results through coaching, motivation, and accountability. If your motivation is not there, if you're not greeting them with swell, then your positivity, just like misery loves company, so does positivity. Answering with a positive, answering a negative with a positive at all times they'll have no choice but to respond to you eventually and rub off, and they become positive themselves, right? I'm terrific. That's a little hoorah, right? You can, you will, you're awesome. These are the little things that management 101, you have to lead with some type of motivation. You can't constantly make them fear you. Reviewing the appointments already scheduled, prospecting, month-to-date prospecting, EFT program sales and goals. These are the things that you need to have, and we have an example script available in Orion too in just about the same folder. So that's something I highly recommend you start doing, and honestly, start doing it today. Write it down. Start doing it today in your spas. It's Friday. You're going to get a ton of people coming in and getting their tans for the weekend. They're sunless, they're UV. Make sure you're utilizing Quadrant 4 to do some of these things. And we are currently using our July marketing campaign, right, to do our campaigning of the week specials. So make sure that's happening. Lastly, have you guys seen this yet? This is your marketing quick guide. Now, many of you might recognize this from Smile Power Day. Smile Power Day was something that we put in place. This was like last month. I want to say it was in May or June. I can't remember when Smile Power Day was, when we were promoting the teeth whitening. Well, what I went ahead and did was I made this universal. So now you have physically no reason to get anybody come back and say, I don't know what you meant by email blast. I don't know what you wanted me to say when I text message. Things won't slip through the cracks. So this will eliminate any of that from happening within your accountability and your management tactics. And what this does is breaks it down internally, externally. It provides instructions on setting up for your emails, right? And your Google Voice phone number to get set up with your free phone number. Now, if you haven't started using the text messaging in your spas, with the free text message blasting the different members about specific things, or for using for collections and so on and so forth, this gives you step-by-step instructions on doing that and how you get set up with that. So that's in this guide, as well as 61 ways to prospect. Use the monthly marketing agenda as well, the July calendar alongside with this. If you have new consultants, or if you're new yourself, or you're a new franchisee, new spa director, this kind of gives you the ideas to start, and then you just sort of take it from there, right? So if you say, I don't know where to start for my Quadrant 1 or my Quadrant 2, here's a perfect way: setting up counter display with guest passes, anywhere that people have to wait or go to improve themselves, beauty shops, dealerships, service department of auto, weight loss clinics, retail stores, dentist office, so on and so forth. We give you that here. And ideas on where to go, what to do if you're like drawing a blank going, this is overwhelming, where do I even begin? That's what this is there for. So this provides you with how to do internal campaigning, which is Quadrant 3, by pulling your reports in Spot Intel. You filter it down to what you want to pull. If you want to address or send an email out or contact doing phone call outreach, your members, you can pull a report from your members by pulling a specific report, right? You can absolutely call and offer anything that you guys are offering this week. You can do phone calls and hit them up every angle, guys. Layer your angles. Phone calls, text messages, email blasting, Facebook, being vocal when you're coming in. That even breaks down each of these internal and external, by the way. There's proactive on what you can do to go and pull it in, right? Then we offer suggested offerings, right? BOGOs, services, 1 week unlimited spa membership, the purpose of the offerings, right? And this helps with training. Restricted EFT member upgrade, right? Talking about if you want to do an upgrade program within your spa, that's always good too. You can do some type of campaign with your existing spa members and contact those and reach out to those people that are currently paying $49 a month just to tan. Just $10 a month more gets you unlimited access to this spa. You can use it as often as you want. I know you're not interested in spa stuff, but let's talk about how the spa stuff that you need to use this now in conjunction with trying to get darker. If all you want to do is spray tan or tan, that's fine. But we have hydration services that's going to prep your skin and going to get you darker twice as fast. It comes on more evenly. We also have skin repair services. So if you are using the UV services, we have red light therapy that can actually repair the damage that you just caused your skin by sitting there for 10, 12 minutes, right? Underneath the UV light, all the damage that it's causing, you know it's happening. You're just turning the other cheek because you're only worried about looking dark in that bathing suit. Let's be real. So, making sure that those conversations are being had when you do this, but it offers that. And then it also shows you reactive approaches. The reactive approach on daily communications and accountability, like we just discussed. So, literally, guys, if you use this guide, or if you're a franchisee, your spa director cannot say that, something doesn't work, because I spent probably 3 hours putting this together one Friday night while I was watching my DVR episodes of Scandal. Struggle's real. But I mean, hey, it's literally there for you to where they can't say, no, this doesn't work, or no, it's not happening because they said that they couldn't blah, 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 or they didn't know blah, 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 blah. So franchisees, by using all of these tools, you'll never, ever have to stand for any more excuse or underperformance. And spa directors as well. You guys will never have to hear, well, what do you mean you didn't know how to do it? I left the guide out for you where all you had to do was print it up and check it off like a checklist. I mean, where did I go wrong here in communicating this to you? So anyway, that is available as well. All of this is on Orion in Spa Performance folder, and you will be able to access this right now. So please be sure that you go and do that. Make sure whatever notes you took during this training, you implement them today, because today could be a pretty big revenue day with it being Friday. Keep in mind, you guys, and I know I'm going to talk about this on the Monday motivation call, but since you're my market and I'm playing a little bit of favoritism here, I care about you guys making money, and you guys are already started such a great momentum with this same store sales positive increase. So congrats again on that with June. I want to make sure this happens again in July. Be prepared for long-term holidays that are coming up. We're not thinking about it right now, but guess what? There are people that are having vacations, little mini vacations and getaways planned for Labor Day. That might not be until September, but for those of us like me who know the struggle is very real when you're pasty, it takes a while to build some color, so keep that in mind. It takes a while to work out and lose some weight to get into a swimsuit if I'm going on a little beach getaway somewhere. So if I'm going to be spending the next month and a half, I need to get a head start. I'm going to be working out. If you have stuff that's going to get rid of my cellulite, you need to tell me now if you're going to be running any specials or promotions on that. That's a marketing advice or a tip that I'm throwing at you right now. Labor Day might seem like it's like way far away, but remember, people are prepping for that right now if they have specific plans for that. Not to mention school, guys. School is convening right next month. For colleges, elementary schools, middle schools, high schools, school's about to take place. Those teachers are in those offices now. So we had Teacher Week a few months back, but please remember that if you know some members off the top of your head right now that are teachers or no teachers or moms or teachers, they have mothers and aunts or uncles that from conversations and relationships that you've established that they know teachers, consider starting a campaign with this. Remember quadrant 3 is the internal and B2B and MAP, right? Remember the B2B is the quadrant 2. So keep that in the back of your mind. How are you going to prepare for that? Maybe you need to map out August and September now and even October, right? It sounds crazy, but believe it or not, October is Halloween. Halloween is a reason for all of these girls to run around in their costumes where they can walk outside wearing teeny tiny little costumes, right? And get away with doing that because it's Halloween. We talk about it all the time, right? So they know they have to look good. They're already in the gym working out for that, believe it or not. They're just as obsessed as you are when it comes to how you look and how you feel every single day. So make sure that you guys use this and remember that and talk to your staffs. And if they remember Quadrant 1, their personal network community outreach, if they're connected in the community. Do they work at a nightclub? Do they work at a school doing substitute teaching maybe? Maybe they coach a cheer squad over there. I don't know, but tap into those resources and brainstorm today. And you know what the best advice I can give to you guys is that worked so much for me in the past, and in our top spas currently do this as well, is having your staff incorporated on these ideas and the creativity is so important for motivation purposes. It takes that task off your plate as the leaders, as the spa directors, as the franchisees. It kind of removes some of that heavy load of having to make sure, was I too firm or was I not motivating enough? Did they absorb that information, or did I sound like a total, winch just now when I said that? But I'm just having a bad morning, so maybe when I communicated the goals, she's not going to take too kindly to it, and she's probably texting her mom right now saying I'm totally going to quit, right? Takes that off your plate whenever you're letting them come up with ideas. Let them be interactive. Let them interact in this. Let them provide like ideas and ask them and say, I value you guys' opinion. I value you guys' creativity, because you know what? You guys are the millennials. You guys know what works the most, and what do you buy into when you buy makeup, or when you buy a hair product, or when you purchase an outfit that you didn't really want to purchase. When you go into Victoria's Secret, you went in there just to get another body spray. You ended up getting an entirely new pink wardrobe, right? So what works on you? Because I want to know, and I want your ideas. I value them. I think you're good at this. When something's somebody else's opinion, they tend to do it 3 to 4 times better than they do if you tell them to do it. It's a proven statistic. So write that down and make sure that your spa director understands that, and make sure your franchisee understands that as well. In those monthly meetings, in those weekly meetings, and in those daily shift turnovers, that should be included in the conversation every single day. What do you think? So we need to get 6 reds, and I racked my brain and I thought about doing this and I thought about doing this. So we always have that to do and fall back on if we can't figure anything else out. But what would you think that we should do? I mean, don't you go and hang out at this place, or how do you think we should do it? I know you're typically really good with blah, 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 right? And go on with that. So that makes them feel they're in control of something. And guess what? Everybody always likes to be the winner. Everybody always likes to be the reason that something was successful, because they get that feeling of accomplishment, or that kudos, or they have a good sense of job security at that point, maybe. You never know, but it always makes you feel good. Your chest gets big, right? And you're walking around like, yep, that was my idea. Thanks, but no thanks, because I got this, right? And what does that ultimately turn into, you guys? Think about it. That ultimately turns into, once they're confident on that, let's say they had an idea to promote at this specific restaurant that they work Mondays and Fridays at, and as a hostess. And the demographic that goes there happens to be who spends the most money in your spa, whether it's Eileen or Eileen's mom or her dad. Whatever your demographic is that spends the most money right now in your spas. They all come in. It's so beneficial. You give the shout out at the next meeting. Congrats. You brought in the most reds that was a great idea. That's awesome. Giving them a little shout out, giving them a little perk. They're going to then have enough confidence to take what they did, because they feel like they're successful in their roles at something. That's gonna spill into their membership sales process. That's gonna spill into their closing and overcoming objections when they're already feeling confident and their chest is all puffed out and they're like, yeah, that's all me. That's gonna rub off, because they're gonna be in that good mood. And the red appointment that's coming in, that last one before they clock out, I got this, is gonna be that attitude. So think about how that all plays into each other and ties hand in hand with each other. So I hope that I've given you guys enough information to be able to set you off into the weekend. Here's something I will give you as advice. Since we did cover this today, there was a time once, a long time ago, when I moved into a consultant position after cleaning beds for 3 years and never being allowed to talk to people. I was like 17, 18 years old. I did not know the potential that Planet Beach had to offer. You guys, if you're a spa director, probably started from somewhere too, whether it was a bed cleaner, phone consultant, whether you were a spa consultant. But when I got put into a spa consultant role, which at the time was called sales associate, I don't know that I was very happy about that, because then I had more responsibilities, and I was just doing that so I can get a free tanning membership. The purpose that I'm telling you this story is so that you understand that Saturdays and Sundays, no sales, is unacceptable. So we happen to be on a Friday. We have Saturday and Sunday that is approaching us. We know that we have limited store hours that we're open. And we know every single weekend is the same song and dance. Nobody comes in. Nobody does. But in our business, in our area of what we're offering, that's unexcusable. That you cannot possibly tell me that on a day where somebody's not at work and you're offering a day of spa, that they're more likely to come in on a Wednesday than they would come in on a Saturday if they're a normal 9 to 5 work Monday through Friday person. And in the past, when I was in a role where I switched where I had to sell, I was the same way. On a Saturday, if I had to work on a weekend, I didn't hate it too bad because it was only 5 hours, 6 hours. Most of the time, I just helped and serviced the people that were coming in and out, but I didn't do anything. And not until I had my franchisee and my spa director sat down with me with a calculator and said, "Why are you underperforming?" And what do you say to that? I don't know. Sorry. I mean, why are you underperforming? I thought I was doing a pretty good job. I always get compliments on my customer service, and I'm always look great when I come in. I put my makeup on. I look wonderful. Why are you complaining? What's going on? Well, the sales. Well, you know that the weekends are slow. No, that the weekends are slow because you allow it to be slow because you showed up to work on accident. Is basically the talk that I got. You showed up to work on accident. You didn't show up on purpose. Because if you showed up on purpose, the sales would be tripled, quadrupled than what they are right now. You mean to tell me one person bought eyewear? That's not okay. You showed up on accident. You stumbled in and you came in there to let the spa run you. You didn't go in there to run the spa. So look at the commission that you missed out on. If you'd have just followed the daily game plan, talking about our goals, if you'd have paid attention to that and seen like you could have made this much money in commission, let's add that up if you do that for every shift that you work. I had a franchisee and a spa director literally sit me down and say, "We see the potential in you, Danielle, and look at the money you're missing out on making. You're doing this for a free tanning membership now, but after you realize how much money that you can make in this role, you're going to be singing a different tune." So after I saw that and they broke that down for me, my most successful red appointment days were Saturdays and Sundays over Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and even Fridays. That's when I had the most people come in. Why? Because I encouraged people and told people this weekend, right? This, if it was a Thursday or a Friday, I would actually encourage them to come in on the weekend because A, I'm not getting a ton of member traffic, so my focus is going to be more on that red appointment. So what does that mean for your staff? Tell them you don't need to be overwhelmed. When we say book reds and you're working by yourself, how do you want me to do that? The phone's ringing. I got to service members. I know, understand fully, right? But there's no reason, absolutely no reason that Saturdays and Sundays when we have a slower traffic and the phones aren't ringing as much because people are doing recreational things with their families. They're doing things like this. If they're not a member, they're doing things like this and going to a spa or getting their hair done. I'm an example. I mean, I'm freaking Eileen. I'm getting my hair done tomorrow and get my nails done tomorrow because it's the only time I have in the world because I work till 10 o'clock at night during the week, right? So keep that in mind. And when you're sitting down with your consultants to do their shift turnovers, A, if you're not doing it, do it. B, when they come in today, say who's working tomorrow and who's working Sunday if you're open, right? Who's coming in? What's your game plan for the weekend? Because starting today, and you can even make them sign a code of conduct. I would even venture to say go as to do that much, right? Moving forward on this date, you are not able to not have any reds booked. It is going to be unacceptable for you to have a $3 day from eyewear sale, and that's it. There's no reason why we are not having back to back red appointments. Even if it means nobody books a red appointment, throw somebody a birthday party. Someone's having a birthday, right? Have a spa party. Somebody's getting married that's coming into your spa right now using your services. So talk to them today about it, guys, and write that down. If you need to have that coming to Jesus, that aha moment, sitting down with them with a calculator, and based on the commission structure you currently have in your spa, every single consultant needs to be talked to about this. And start with the person working tomorrow and Sunday. Who's coming in tomorrow and Sunday? Help them come up with a plan by using this strategy, this agenda that you're looking at right here to be the guide on assisting them on how to do this. Listen, tomorrow you're working 5 hours. You don't have a game plan? Well, since now moving forward, it's unacceptable. I'm excited to show you how you can do it. By the way, if you get this, and this, look how much money you're going to make on a Saturday. Nobody expects it because nobody has ever set expectations for weekend sales. And I hate on Monday mornings coming into the office and sitting down and pulling up Spa Central and looking at the broken down days because I can see you guys' production. I hate seeing that Saturdays and Sundays are only $10 here, $20 here. Somebody might have come in and paid their dues, so you had a net EFT contribution to whatever you made that specific day. That makes my stomach turn, you guys, because if you only knew the amount of money that you guys are missing out on a weekend, it's insane. That should be the biggest Reds day. So, with that said, task yourself who's working this specific weekend. Before next weekend comes around, like not this one coming, but the one after that, make sure you have a little huddle meeting, staff meeting. You should do your weekly meetings, but if you're not, definitely do one at least for next week. That way people moving forward are prepared. They sign it on the code of conduct moving forward. This is no longer acceptable to not hit goal on a Saturday and Sunday. If anything, you should make more money in being open 5 or 6 hours than you do being open 12 hours on a Wednesday. You should make more with less hours, because this is a day that people have time to come in because they're off of work, or that's when they're already doing this, right? So I don't need to reiterate that again to you guys. You know that, but who's working this weekend? Talk to them today. Give them a game plan. Give them what to do. Give them this checklist. Customize it to what you want them specifically painting on, because it isn't a Word doc. Give it to them and say, and look, never incorporate a directive, and write this down. Never ever incorporate a directive to your staff members without showing them the WIFM. Because all you're doing is getting the head nods and the okay, but what happens? Magically, it doesn't happen. And then you go, what went wrong? I thought I told you to do this. Oh, yeah, well, it got busy, so I didn't. Okay, but if you knew that a one membership commission, right? You might know it, but you don't think about it. But if you knew in the back of your mind, and I kept motivating you and keeping in your head going, if you just sell one membership, that $8.50 an hour that you're making, if you sell the membership the correct way that I trained you on, you can get $40 from that. That can go from $8.50 in this next hour to $48.50 an hour. So what do you want to make? You want to make $48.50 an hour? You want to make $8.50 an hour? Because we can keep you at $8.50 an hour. You'd be awesome on the phones, but I'm going to have to remove that opportunity for you to make any money, because I need to get somebody in here that does want to make that. So you just let me know, because I'm willing if you are, right? That, to me, enough said. Don't tell me a thing. I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out perfectly. Hey, listen, I'm going to answer the phones and I'm going to say, is it okay that I put you on a brief hold for just a second? I'm going to finish up here with the member and I'll be right with you. Yes, no, maybe so, call him back, whatever. I'll figure that out if it means I can make $48 an hour versus $8.50, right? So keep that in mind. Task yourselves to do that for this particular weekend. Make sure you never give a directive without a WIFM, and make sure that they have a task list in front of them like this on how to implement getting those red appointments, possibly the ambassador program. Maybe you want to do a member outreach. Maybe you want to throw something together to do another enter to win. Up to you. But this weekend, make it a point. Write it down. Make it a note to yourself this weekend, and in huge bold letters, if you want to put it on the computer, I will not hit my goal today. I will not exceed my goal today or tomorrow, right? Leave it out there for them for a note of motivation and encouragement. But moving forward, I don't want to see anybody in my market having $3 days on a Sunday or a Saturday, because then I'm going to have to come out there and then I'm going to have to do capital punishment on you, and you don't want that. I'm kidding. But anyway, so hopefully you got a lot out of this. If you want more training, I will totally be on board to do that. I love this. This is the funnest part of our jobs, right? This shouldn't be looked at as a duty. This should be looked at as something fun, exciting, right? So keep the excitement going. Make sure they're incorporated in these ideas. Make sure they understand fully what these quadrants are. Have it printed up for them. Put it in their binders. Have it as a handout at the next meeting. Go through it. Have them write questions down on the back. Have them share ideas. Talk about how this ties directly into their paychecks and how much money they're missing out on. Have that come into Jesus moment that I told you guys about that I had and was given. In return, that's how I got where I'm at. There's growth in this company that they need to know about, and they can eventually work their way up to franchisee if they wanted to, right? If I had not been sat down with that time once a long time ago and was told this, this never would have happened, right? This growth never would have happened. All of it was my personal selfish wants to make more money, and what happened is you end up, move up to a spa director role, move up to a multi-unit manager. put you on a panel at convention. Danielle, what's the secret? I don't really have one. I just like nice things. So I just wanted to make money. Literally every franchisee in the room cracking up, right? So think about that. Think about how that can tie directly into your bank accounts and the rankings. And many of you are obsessed with Spa Central with those rankings. Think about that. I'm seeing that many of you are not able to see the screen, so I do apologize about that. But all I'm doing is showing you guys documents that I am referencing on Orion. So I will send this out as an attachment to you guys as well. I'll upload the files on the Facebook group page as well as send them out via email to the West Coast market. So don't worry about that. If you can't see the screen, I apologize. I don't know what's happening there, but I'll get that over to you guys so you'll have it as long as you can hear me. But without further ado, you guys rock. You guys are awesome. Let's keep this momentum going for July, you guys. We have to stay in the lead. You guys are the strongest market in the company, so keep it going. And make sure you email me if you want to have additional training for this. If not, I will see you guys on the Monday motivation call. And please make sure you write down in your calendars. Next week are the big Mama Jammas. Next week's Tuesday's webinar and Friday is going to be the sales process part 1, sales process part 2, because I couldn't possibly do that webinar in one specific training. There's no way I'll keep you for 3 or 4 hours. You guys know how windy I get. So make sure that anybody and everybody that needs to be on that is on that, and make sure you make it a priority because it's all going to come together with you with all this training. It's going to make so much more sense if you've taken it in the past and didn't understand or never saw any benefit in it. It's definitely going to benefit this time after having these different webinars. It's going to make more sense. So please be sure to be on that. But other than that, I'll see you guys on Monday on that motivation call. Thank you so much and have a great weekend, my little eagles.